Hi, and welcome back to the Consult Counselor series, where we dive into real life parenting questions, offer practical advice to help you raise confident kids, nurture stronger connections, and find your calm in the chaos of parenting. Today's question is: how can I get my child to listen without having to yell or repeat myself 1,000 times? Well, my friend, if that isn't the $1 million question, this one hits home for so many of us, I'm sure, because it's like you're on a loop. Put your shoes on. Hey, I said put your shoes on. Put your shoes on. And that's me not really going at 100% as I do at home. And you tell them 3 or 4 times, but then suddenly you're yelling at the top of your lungs when you promised yourself that you wouldn't. And the responses you get from your family members, from your kids, sometimes your partners are like, why do you have to yell all the time? Okay, I hear you. Calm down, right? As if you're the one with the issue. And trust me, I totally get it because it happens in my home too. So the question is, how do we break this cycle? First things first, kids don't just ignore us, okay? They don't ignore us to just drive us nuts. They do get distracted, obviously, but more than that, what happens is, are you ready for this? What happens is that they've learned that we're going to just repeat ourselves until our voice begins to turn into this drill sergeant mode, and then we're screaming. Them not listening or choosing not to listen the first time is truly a learned behavior, which means that we can indeed shift the approach. So, here are a few tips to help. First, get down at their level. And what I mean by that is physically lower yourself so that you're at eye level with your child, especially if you have a little. When you have their full attention, you're already ahead of the game. Then give your direction. The second tip: speak less and say more. Kids tune out long winded conversation like it's background noise or like it's Charlie Brown's womp, womp, womp when the adults are talking. So when you're speaking to your kids, be clear and concise. Shoes on, please. That works a whole lot better than a whole explanation about why being late stresses you out. Because frankly, my friends, if we're keeping it real, they just don't care. The third tip is make eye contact, and it's so powerful. Wait until you have their eyes on you, like we mentioned before, and then give the instruction, which means that if you're yelling from another room, yes, you have to take out the moment to get to where they are, make that eye contact. If they're little, like we said in tip one, get to their level. And then give that request or the directions that you want them to complete. It may sound like an inconvenience, but when you don't do it at the start, you still then end up doing it after you've given the directions 3 or more times when you're already yelling. And the bonus point is if you can stay calm and use a steady voice while making that eye contact. The fourth tip is use natural consequences. Here's what I mean. Let's say it's time to go and your child still isn't dressed. Instead of yelling, calmly explain the consequence. If you don't have your shoes on, we can't go to the park. And my friends, the most important thing here is that you must stick to your words. You have to say what you mean and mean what you say, because the second that you bend, they know that they're just going to get their way in the end. So once you've said we're not going, you really have to not go. And the fifth tip is positive reinforcement. When we often focus on the negatives, what they didn't do or what they're going to lose if they don't follow through, then we lose them because we must remember that kids thrive on positive attention. So when they follow through the first time, yes, that should be the expectation, but still, when they follow through the first time, acknowledge it. Wow, thanks for listening right away. Mommy really appreciates it. And obviously, no one's perfect, and you're going to have days where patience is thin and the volume just creeps up real fast. But with consistency and a little bit of mindful attention, those 1,000 times that you say the same thing might just turn into, well, maybe 2 or 3 times. Progress, not perfection, right? Thank you so much for tuning in. I really hope that this helps. And if you think it can help another mom or dad friend, please be sure to share the episode with them and hit the subscribe and notification button so that you don't miss the next episode. If you have any questions for the Consultant Counselor series, you can always DM me on any platform at Counselor V De Jesus, or you can ask the question anonymously by going down to the show notes and leaving the question in that link. And as always, remember that you're always free to be mindful. Thanks so much and catch you next time.